the twin brothers' fatal accident. In 2002, a man in Finland died after being struck by a truck while riding his bicycle. 2 hours later, another man met the exact same fate. Same road, same direction, even the same type of truck. The most shocking part? They were identical twins, aged 70, and neither knew about the other's accident. Authorities confirmed that the location of their deaths was only a few meters apart, leaving many baffled. While statistical probability suggests such coincidences are possible, the near-perfect alignment of timing, location, and circumstances feels almost eerie. Was it just bad luck, or something stranger at play? 2. The Poe Prediction. In 1838, Edgar Allan Poe published the narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, a tale about a shipwreck where survivors kill and eat a cabin boy named Richard Parker. 46 years later, in 1884, a real shipwreck left 4 survivors stranded at sea. They too killed and ate the cabin boy, whose name, shockingly, was also Richard Parker. The chilling parallel between fiction and reality has puzzled historians and literary enthusiasts alike. Was Poe's work pure coincidence, or did some strange chain of events bring his grim tale to life? 3. Hoover Dam's first and last deaths. The construction of the Hoover Dam claimed dozens of lives, but the first and last deaths have an uncanny link. The first person to die was J.G. Tierney, a surveyor who drowned in 1922 during preliminary work. 14 years later, the last person to die during the project was Patrick Tierney, J.G.'s son, who also drowned in the same river. Though both deaths were accidental, the connection between father and son's fate on the same project has long been a source of morbid fascination. The World War I bullet connection. In World War I, a British soldier was shot in the chest and miraculously survived, thanks to a coin in his pocket that deflected the bullet. Years later, during World War II, the soldier's son, serving in the military, was shot in nearly the same spot. This time, the same coin, kept as a lucky charm, once again deflected the bullet and saved his life. The odds of one coin saving 2 lives in 2 separate wars, in the same family, border on the impossible. The cursed car of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914 sparked World War I, but his car's strange legacy didn't end there. The Graf and Stift automobile he rode in seemed to bring misfortune to nearly everyone who owned it afterward. From fatal crashes to bizarre accidents, the car reportedly caused the deaths of over a dozen people. While skeptics attribute this to urban legend, records of repeated tragedies tied to the vehicle keep the mystery alive. 6. The Titanic's literary foreshadowing. In 1898, author Morgan Robertson wrote Futility, a novella about the largest ship ever built, called the Titan, striking an iceberg in the North Atlantic and sinking with heavy loss of life. 14 years later, the Titanic met the same fate, sharing uncanny details: similar size, speed, lack of lifeboats, and even the time of year. Though some argue Robertson simply extrapolated from naval trends, the near-perfect alignment between fiction and reality still chills readers. 7. The Falling Babies of Detroit. In the 1930s, a man named Joseph Figlock was walking in Detroit when a baby fell from a 4th-story window onto him. Both survived. A year later, in almost the exact same spot, another baby fell from the same building and landed on Figlock again. Each time, his presence likely saved the infants from serious harm. The odds of being in the right place at the right time twice in the same location are astronomically small. 8. The Civil War chess game. In the 1850s, a man in Kentucky began a correspondence chess game with an opponent in New York. When the Civil War broke out, the game halted. 17 years later, the same 2 men met by chance in a Mississippi riverboat and instantly recognized each other as their long-lost chess rivals. They resumed and completed the game exactly where they left off, using the original moves from memory. Historians still marvel at the improbability of such a reunion. 9. Mark Twain's Halley's Comet connection. Mark Twain was born in 1835, the same year Halley's Comet appeared. In 1909, he famously said he expected to go out with it when it returned. True to his words, Twain died in April 1910, just 1 day after the comet's closest approach to Earth. Astronomers call the timing purely chance, but Twain's eerily accurate prediction has become one of literature's strangest historical coincidences. 10. The Wilma McLean Civil War story. The American Civil War began on Wilmer McLean's property in Manassas, Virginia, during the First Battle of Bull Run in 1861. Seeking peace, he moved over 100 miles away to Appomattox Courthouse. 4 years later, in 1865, General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant inside McLean's new home. As McLean famously remarked, "The war began in my front yard and ended in my parlor." 11. The life-saving baby and the same man. In the late 19th century, a young man named Robert Todd Lincoln Beckwith fell into icy waters, but was saved by a stranger who pulled him to safety. That stranger was Edwin Booth, one of America's greatest actors. Years later, Edwin's brother, John Wilkes Booth, would assassinate President Abraham Lincoln, Robert's grandfather. The twist of fate linking rescue and tragedy still intrigues historians. 12. Anthony Hopkins and the rare book before filming The Girl from Petrovka. Anthony Hopkins searched London for a copy of the rare novel it was based on. He found one left behind on a park bench. Later, he met the book's author, who revealed that he had lent his personal annotated copy to a friend who had lost it on a park bench in London. The book Hopkins found was that exact copy. 13. The Two Miss Unsinkables' Violet Jessop was a nurse and ocean liner stewardess who survived the sinking of the RMS Titanic in 1912. 4 years later, she was aboard the Titanic's sister ship, the Britannic, when it too sank, this time during World War I. She also had been on the Olympic, the Titanic's other sister ship, when it collided with another vessel but did not sink. Her triple brush with maritime disaster earned her the nickname Miss Unsinkable. 14. The Repeating Hotel Room. Murder. In 1910, a man was killed in a hotel room in Asheville, North Carolina. In 1935, another man was murdered in the exact same room, under remarkably similar circumstances. Both victims were traveling salesmen, both were found with identical fatal injuries, and both had registered under false names. Despite the decades between them, police never solved either case. 15. The Curse of the Crying Boy. Painting. In the 1980s, British tabloids reported a strange pattern. Homes that owned a popular mass-produced painting of a crying boy seemed to suffer unexplained fires. In each case, the painting itself remained undamaged. Firefighters claimed to have seen this repeatedly, though skeptics blamed sensationalism. Still, the sheer number of incidents linking the same image to house fires has cemented its place as one of history's strangest modern coincidences. 16. King Umberto's Double. In 1900, King Umberto I of Italy dined at a small restaurant in Monza and met the owner, who looked identical to him. They shared more than appearance. Both were named Umberto, both were born on the same day in the same town, and both married women named Margherita. Even stranger, on July 29, 1900, the restaurant owner died in an accident, and the king was assassinated later that same day.